Hey, so something that I really love about uh, web design or about any design is the typography part. The part where we're taking text and we're making it attractive, we're making it readable, we're making it inviting. And I had always hoped to do some videos about more about typography, but I thought a good place to start would be looking at something I like to do, drop caps, drop capitals, initial capitals, whatever you want to call them. So one of my heroes of design is Kit Heinrichs, and this is his site, his studio in San Francisco. You can see right here on this piece, this is a Franklin Gothic Y, and it's beautiful. It's a drop cap is a good way to like say, hey, I'm the first thing you ought to read. Come over here and look at this. Start reading here. But also, it just adds a nice touch. It can be a pop of color. It can just be that bigger element that adds that contrast you need to keep your text from looking flat or too big or overwhelming. Um, and he does other things like inserting headers within the text. I don't know if there's another example of his initial caps, or I'm sure there is. And sometimes he'll do it where it's just giant text. But anyway, we're going to focus on this treatment. And I'm going to show you how to do something like this in GenerateBlocks. And you can do it with the headline block or the new text block. But anyway, I have my child theme demo site running locally on my computer. I'm having some issues with Laragon, so my SSL is not working, but whatever. We're just playing around. So anyway, we have this page, and I have Bedoni, Libre Bedoni on Google Fonts, which is gorgeous. And I also have Libre Franklin Gothic from Google Fonts, and I can't pronounce the guy's name, or I can't remember the guy's name that designed it. But there's Libre Bedoni, Libre Franklin Gothic, and Libre, I guess I'm saying that right, Libre Caslon. They're all excellent. They're some of the best fonts on Google Fonts you can get. And I love the classics. And these are all based on, at least Bedoni and Franklin Gothic, I think, are based on the American Type Founders versions from like the 1920s. But anyway, we're going to look at making this first paragraph of text more inviting with a drop capital. And we're going to do it with GenerateBlocks. So this first paragraph I have is the new GenerateBlocks text block, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to create a global style. And I don't have any here. So first thing we're going to do is prefix it. And I always do GPC for GeneratePress child theme dash. We'll just call it drop cap. And what we're going to do is create that. And then we're going to have to, we're not actually going to apply any styling to that particular selector. We're going to go for the first letter pseudo selector. So we're in our global style here, GPC drop cap. We're going to go to more and create a new. I think I can do it like this. And what you don't see is over on my other screen over here, I have a cheat code space where I have the code I've used on other sites. So let's see. Is it compound? I think it may be. I should have done. Yeah, there we go. That's what I want. Okay, so first letter. Okay, so here we go. It's going to be some trial and error, but so first of all, my typography, I'm going to want Libre Bedoni. And you can see it's already changed. So it's changed fonts. And we're going to do, for a font size, we're going to do a percentage, because I want it to be a percentage of whatever the paragraph is. So I'm just going to try 500%. We'll see what it does. Okay. we'll leave it at that for now. Now it's affecting the line height because of that taking up the space that capital Bodoni takes up. But let's go to layouts, we'll go to floats, and we're going to float left. Okay, and now it drops it more in that space, and that's how we want it. Okay, and let's do, I don't know if this really matters all that much, but I'm going to switch the line height to 1. Yes, because we really don't need any line height to be mucking with anything. And the rest of it really comes down to the size of the letter and the spacing around it. So I want to kind of push it down to where the top of the character is going to be more visually in line with the top of my text paragraph. So let's go to spacing, and we're going to fiddle a little with the margin. And I'm going to use M's because I want it to be relative to the size of the paragraph. I think that's right. It's the parent. So the pseudo selector, the first letter that we're using to style this is within the paragraph. I think I'm saying that right, or advising correctly. But let's see, 0.2 M. Oh, it did negative. Sorry. 0.2. Okay, maybe that's too much. Okay, maybe that's bull. Okay. So now for the bottom, I want to pull in a negative unit of measurement so that it will, see, we have plenty of room for this line to snug up underneath it. So let's go negative 0.2 M. Okay, there we go. And that may be all we need. And then I want a little spacing over on the right. And that's way too much. Okay, that's not so bad. And sometimes you might want, or we'll leave it like this, and then we're gonna do a different paragraph, because if it starts with a round like an O, you might find that you want to pull the left margin out. And I know you can't do, well, I guess you could do this on a case by case basis, but sometimes you'll find that it looks good regardless if that, like that serif, for example, is poking out just a bit. Let's do negative. Yeah, that's not so bad. 0.05 M. And I actually want, yeah, okay. So I think that's pretty good. Okay, well, let's save this and we'll see how it looks on the front end without the squigglies and stuff. And I may want to make it bigger. I want more because it's yeah, so it's not terribly. So what I might do if this were, a final, I'm working on this for a client or me, or to use it, because my heading is just slightly smaller than this, I might want to size this so that it takes up 4 lines. It's bigger because I want contrast. I don't want it to be, just a little bit bigger than that. If it's going to be bigger, I want it bigger or smaller. So I'm going to go bigger. So I'm still in my first letter. Let's look at that font size again, and let's go up 550. Okay. 600. Keep going. I wish I could go in units. Okay. Okay, now you can see that the top of that L is just a little bit under what the visual top of my paragraph is. So let's see. I'm going to make this about 680 and go back to my spacing. Let's close the layout. Spacing. And I wonder if it can be, no. Okay, 0.05. Whoa, 0. 0.05. That's what I meant to do. Okay, that is better. It's still maybe too much. Because like I said, I want it to be visual. It doesn't have to be precisely. So maybe that. So it's 0.035 M. And let's go back to the font size, and we're going to keep bumping it up because I want the bottom of that L to line up with the baseline of this fourth line here. And the baseline is just the bottom of the lowercase characters that, like the S, the U, or an X, for example. Not necessarily a letter with a hanging descender. But again, it's all visual. And another thing to be concerned with sometimes is I'm on a high-res display, and if you move this to a low-res display, it might change its appearance a little bit. Okay, that's looking pretty good. I'm going to save. We're going to look at it on the front end again. Yeah, I'm digging that. That's much better, much more impact. Okay, so let's see how it looks with a U. Okay, so switch this to a text. That's looking pretty good. And an N. And ideally, I wouldn't apply this to every single, certainly not every single paragraph, but not even every single first paragraph beneath a heading. Maybe a section. Again, it all depends on everything else around it and the context and all that good stuff. So let's change this to an O. Whoop, I want a capital O. Okay, that's not bad. And so save that. Go here and refresh. Take a look. Yeah, that's not bad. So it may need to come up just a tad, but then you get to a U and an L character with a flat top, and it looks pretty good. But that round visually, because it's less space actually coming up into that area that lines up with the top of the paragraph, it may look kind of weird, but I don't know. It's all kind of a give and take. Yeah, so that, and let's see. You might have to fiddle with the responsive stuff, but because we've used percentages and whoop, that was wrong. And M's, it should collapse fairly nicely. Yes. Okay. So the font size, you probably can't tell it that much on this, is decreasing slightly as you get down to smaller screen size. And because we've used percentages for the font size and M's for that spacing around it, it adjusts nicely. Now you might want to change it so that, you get down to the mobile phone view and you switch it to take up 3 lines instead of 4, but I like it big. I like that impact that it gives, and it's dramatic. Because if you're going to do it, you got to do it. You got to go for the gusto and not be bashful about it. So yeah, so that's how you can do it with GenerateBlocks. And again, using that first letter pseudo class. So again, you have to go to more, and that's what the selector looks like. And you can also do it with WordPress's built-in styles, which, I'd say from a usability perspective that when you hand these sites over to clients, you'll probably find it, or they will probably find it easier to manage than telling them to, okay, make sure you select the GenerateBlocks text block, and then you come over here and you select the correct class. And that's something I struggle with, but you can also do it. I don't know if it's going to show. Nope, it won't. But let's see. Well, anyway, you get the style selectors, that are native to WordPress. And I'm going to show you in a different video how you can customize that. It's a little bit of JavaScript, nothing crazy. It's really just telling WordPress affect these block elements in the editor. And essentially all it does is add extra classes to it. So it'll be like a is style drop cap, something like that. But it'll give you some options over here in the sidebar. And I will do that in a different video because it can go beyond just drop caps. You can do alternate heading styles, alternate paragraph styles. You can add colors, things like that. Oh, by the way, wouldn't it be cool to see what this looks like in, I think it's just the default color setup. But that could be kind of cool. Or go for a red. Yeah, that could be kind of cool. So you can change the color too, or add a modifier class to change the color if you like. Yeah, that's kind of cool. Anyway, I hope you find that useful, and you can add that to sprinkle some extra seasoning on your introductory paragraphs to your pages that harkens back to ye old book typography. But in all truth, magazines still use this a lot. Editorial design. In fact, a lot of my web design inspiration used to come and still does in a way from editorial design, from magazines, from Rolling Stone, from oh gosh, not catalogs. Looking at Kit Heinrich's work, all this stuff. All of it can be borrowed. The way he sprinkles in red and these smaller headings that flow right into the body copy and floating images out next to it, inserting bold words that float right into the body copy. Lots of good stuff. So look at other designers, and don't just be looking at web design. Look at whatever inspires you. Yeah, so I'll stop now and let you try this out. Again, I hope it's useful. I think next video, I'm going to look into how you can do this with the built-in WordPress additional styling for blocks. And like, subscribe, all that good YouTube stuff. And yeah, we'll do this again.